Okay, I think this is the part of the conversation where I'm like just gonna have fun, right, with these questions. So I'm gonna give you chess scenarios, right, and we can just convert them into
Okay.
live, right? Um, I believe before our lives end,
Mm-hmm.
life would sort of give you like the check,
Mm-hmm.
check sides
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
checkmate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you play, when it's when someone says check,
Yes.
which place do you go into first? Do you go in the analysis of the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
or do you go inside first? Because I'm thinking, like I say, because I also play chess, right?
Yeah.
But not professionally like you do.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like you can be once you hear someone saying check,
Mm-hmm.
you just get this fear that, oh my god, where did I
Okay.
mess up and all
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And I think that's you going inside, not
Okay.
going on the board.
Okay.
All right, so in your case, when you hear check, where do you go first?
I will speak from a point of when I first started playing
Mhm.
and where I am now.
Okay,
Right. So
crazy,
when I
go
first
go
started
go.
playing, the moment you'd hear check, that fear would come in. You'd feel so anxious. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
How do I escape this? And all of that. And that clouds your thinking. It literally clouds your judgment because you're too scared about making the wrong move. You end up making the wrong move anyway, you know? And then over time, the various coaches and various players that I've come across, met, played, learned from, I got into a position where now if I hear check, I just take a step back, calm down, and then just assess everything. So with what I teach my students is when your king is under attack, check basically, you have three options. You could either capture, block, or run away.
Okay, capture is overcoming the piece
Attacking you.
that's attacking.
Literally getting rid of that piece
Yeah.
that's posing a threat to your king. It could be the king
Okay,
that's attacking it.
okay. Let's go. Let's go. Like you can capture.
Okay. Yes, you can
Yeah.
capture, block, or run away.
Mm.
Right. So with these, we can talk from the perspective of the king. The only one that has exceptions is capture. So with capture, you have two types, or you have two ways. You could have a piece of yours capture the piece that's attacking your king. So say, for instance, a queen is giving check to the king. So a queen is attacking my king. And I have a bishop that could take that queen out of the board. I can capture the queen with the bishop, right?
Mm.
Way number two is if the king himself captures the queen that's attacking the king. Do you understand? So that's capture. With block, you are literally taking a piece of yours to cover that line of attack. So literally putting something between the king and the piece that's attacking the king.
Mm.
So that's blocking that check, blocking that attack, and then run away. Before you run away, what I always tell my students is look at the board and look at what your pieces are doing. Look at what your opponent's pieces are doing. It's easy to run away, but is it always the safest option for you in that moment? It's always easier to just touch the king and move it away once you hear check. But is it the better option in that moment to move the king away from that check? Is it better then to block? Is it better to capture? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself whenever you hear someone say check or whenever you see your king is under attack. So before you run away with the king, ask yourself, which of these squares around the king, because the king naturally has 9 squares to go to from where it is. If it's in the center, if it's on the edge of the board, it has about 5, right? So you then ask yourself, which of the available squares can my king go to? From the available squares, which is the safest option? So you then think about putting your king in those squares and think what your opponent's going to do after you put your king there. So what that does is it teaches them to think 2 or 3 moves ahead before they actually move their king. So you want the safest option possible on the board. And you can only do that if you think long enough about it.
Mm,
Do you understand?
mm.
Yeah.
Now, let's stick on these three for now. I want to personalize them into your life.
Mhm.
Tell me about the moment where you had to block. So, like you said, blocking mean it's you sacrificing something.
Yes.
Still a valuable. This when you block, you put the piece in front of the king to,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
still a valuable piece,
Yes.
even if it's pawn.
Yeah.
So tell me about the moment where you had to block.
I think if we're talking sacrifices,
Yeah.
I think for me, it came when I realized my mental health was deteriorating. Academics were falling, my social life was falling, and even playing sports was impossible for me. I knew I had to sacrifice something. I knew I had to give up something in order to get the others better. Right.
Mhm.
So what I did was, I think it was,
Okay. What was checking you?
I think in my first year, um, I was sorry, my second year, my dad had passed. Right. So already,
May his soul rest in peace. Yeah.
yes, thank you. Already there was a lot on a student, and my social life was taking a hit because of that, because I was distancing myself from everyone. Sports as well was taking a hit from that because I was literally not focusing on that. Academics as well was taking a hit because I couldn't actually study. I couldn't do much, right? But in that moment, I had to think, um, what can I let go of so I can then improve, my mental health, my focus.
Mm.
And I chose in that moment to sacrifice my social life. So I barely spoke to friends. That for that period, I barely did anything fun, actually. And I think what helped the most was the mere fact that I still had a sport to go through. I ran, I played soccer. I gave up a whole year of chess, and I love chess. Nobody knows, um, or a lot of people around me who are close to me know how much I love chess, and I gave it up for the year so that I could
Yeah.
improve my academics, you know. Once my academics started picking up, I started, going back into chess. I started going back into, my social life. And in that moment, I think, um, the person who was my shield, or the person who came in to block everything for me, was my mom, because of how strong she was for the family. I knew she was crying behind closed doors. I knew she was crying in the shower. But whenever we were out, whenever we were, with her in the living room or in the kitchen or wherever, she would always smile and tell us everything is gonna be okay. She then was not necessarily something I put to get rid of that check so that they could take her,
Mhm.
but um she was my shield, someone that literally just blocked that, that anxiety attack that I was experiencing, someone that literally blocked, the depression that would have literally landed on anyone else. Because of her, I didn't actually even experience what it means to be depressed.
So the depression was gonna be the checkmate.
Yes, basically.
Ah.
So in that sense, because of her, I didn't actually get to experience. I don't even know to this day what it means to be depressed.
Mm.
You know, and I'm forever grateful for the amount of effort she put in. Even to this day, whenever I see her cry, I always tell her, thank you for everything that you've done for us
Mm.
every single day.
Bro, blocking is not easy,
Yeah.
right? Um, yeah, blocking is not easy. Making a sacrifice,
Mhm.
because just generally giving up something is
Something.
not it's
Yeah.
not an easy thing, right?
Yeah.
So there are people that right now that are living their life, and their life is for some reason stuck.
Yeah.
They're not making any progress that maybe they wish they can see upon their lives.
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the advice, or maybe the motivation statement that you have around blocking?
Firstly, if it's not working out for you, if a particular routine is not working out for you, if a particular friendship is not working out for you, if a particular activity that you're doing is not working out for you, be brave enough to cut it. Be brave enough to stop it. When things aren't working out, toxicity is at its peak. And that's something that can literally hold you back for so long.
Can lead you to checkmate.
Literally. Even if it may seem impossible to do so, even if it may seem hard to do so, you don't have to necessarily speed and immediately do it. You can start small. I'll make an example with friendships. If a friendship is becoming too bad for you, maybe your friend is the one who tells you you can't do this, you can't do that, when your aspirations is to do this and that. Distance yourself from them. Give yourself a day or two away from them, away from that space of negativity. Check to see if it actually helps, if you become productive after that. And if you notice that whenever you're not with that friend, you become more productive than when you are, then I think that should be a reality check for you, a moment to realize that, okay, this is a friendship that I either need to end, or I need to get to a point where it becomes better, or I need to maybe speak to this person and tell them, listen, the dynamics of this relationship right now is not working out. We need to do better, or at least let's work on it to improve, And if still after that point nothing is getting better, just cut them off. It's most successful people have a very small circle, a very, very small circle. It's not something that they decide on because of the fun of it. No, it's because of what they want to achieve. Some people out there are not happy to see you succeed. And that's the truth of it all. It's okay. Accept it, yes, and then figure out who's ready to see you succeed and who isn't. Then cut off who isn't. Yeah.
So let's go back to capture then. I mean, you live your entire life looking at this timeline. Which moment you recall where you was like, best shot? That was a successful capture.
I think I'll look back to last year. Last year for me was the highlight of my life thus far. Not the turning point, but the highlight. Turning point 2021 gap year, right? But highlight 2025. I received my degree. I became an RC, right? Something that I've been wanting for a very long time in the resident space.
Congratulations.
I became an SRC later in the year, right? I literally completed research and obtained my degree. I performed really well at a university level for chess. So all of these accolades for me are something that I would say, okay, you managed to overcome a lot of things. You managed to get through it. And this is where it's taken you so far.
That was a good capture.
Yeah, that was a very good capture for me.
And give me some as well, some tips on this. When you had a capturing moment, or going back to the chess, so you just like got over this piece that almost ended you into checkmate, right? It's so easy for you to get relaxed again. It's so easy for you to like, nah, I'm winning this game. This game is mine.
Yeah.
And I remember what you said, that things can just change.
Yeah.
And that's what chess taught you, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep your mind contained in that moment that you still keep going on? I mean, you're doing your masters this year, and you're still serving in the office, and probably there are some things that you also set for this year.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep your mind contained in like after just a capture, or in a space where you're winning?
Set goals. Once you have goals that you want to achieve, if we put this in perspective of a chess game, once you escape that attack, then the next goal is to win the game, right? So that's the next goal. You need to win the game. So you keep your mind focused on winning the game. You don't relax. Right? You could draw. Remember, there's still an option to draw. There's still an option to lose. So you need to keep your mind focused on, I want to win this game. Right? So that's motivation. Motivation is what keeps me going. So I've set goals. I have stuff that I want to achieve. I know what I want to do with my term, and I know the amount of work that it needs me to put in. I know the amount of work that I need to put in to obtain my master's. I know the amount of work that I need to put in order to become the man that I envision, the man that my mom envisions, and the man that my future wife would want to marry. Do you understand? The father of my future kids. I still have those goals that I need to achieve. So motivation, once you pick up on motivation, never let it run out. Keep motivating yourself. You are the first point of motivation. Don't let someone else motivate you. Be your own motivation. Motivate yourself to get and achieve what you want to achieve. You know, it's important to be your own narrator. Don't let other people, don't let the noises outside, the voices outside, narrate your life and tell you what you should be and should become. They're very limiting. So the sky's the limit, as many say, and you set that limit, you yourself. So everything is in your mind. Motivate yourself hard enough and long enough to achieve the goals that you want to. Once you've achieved your goals, then and only then should you be able to rest.
I see, bro. I love that so much. Let's go to Runaway. Yeah, this might sound so cynical to someone, but I know in my own life that there were things that I needed to run away from.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your best runaway?
I think
and the thing about runaway, it's scary because like, let's take it back to the context of chairs.
Yeah.
Because you're just like moving a step back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you even if you ran away, you still feel like it's not far.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I think about it like that was when I took a challenge to take myself out of poverty.
Yeah.
And then follow with my family. So in the journey, I realized when I move a little on the middle class, I'm like, oh, flip, it's not far.
Yeah.
I might just run away, but it's not far and it's still scary.
Yeah.
Tell me about your best runaway.
Running away, I guess. If I'm being honest, I've faced most of my challenges head on. I haven't come to a point where I've decided, you know what, this is something you should, run away from or avoid or move away from. But I think if I'm being honest with myself, I think it's the poverty mentality. That's something that I think I've decided to run away from entirely. What I mean by that is I tend not to associate myself with people who victimize themselves. If you associate yourself with someone who victimizes themselves, remember, being victim means you think you're right. You never want to learn. You never want to improve. You never want to get better. So that victim mentality, if I were to implement it in my life, I wouldn't get far because I think I deserve, in that moment. And I never really pep myself up to get up in the morning and go do something. Instead, I'm like, yeah, but Greatman, life has been hard on you. You deserve a break. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting at home. I'm like, but honestly speaking, I don't necessarily need to do this. My mom is working and I'm already victimizing myself to the point where I'm not doing anything. So I think I've avoided that mentality and that lifestyle. I've run away from it. I've shied away from it. When things aren't going well, I don't just stop and give up. I don't just say, man, you're just a boy. You need to go and achieve. You still have a lot you need to do. And I think I tell myself every day when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, you still have a lot you need to do.
Bro, thank you so much. I think there are two questions that I want to ask us here as well here.
Yeah.
Cognitive abilities. The cognitive psychology side on chess. When you meet these guys who don't think that they can win a game, they can. I actually on this book, the last chapter, it's mindset. I put a case study there of the two boys. They were in my class in the US. So one of their favorite activities or sport was chess. So I discovered their differences. So there are people that would play, but they already know the time they move in the piece that I lost this game. How do you channel them? Like, tell me about such, because it's a psychology, right?
Yes.
It's not a it's not a permanent thing. It's not an it's
a state of mind.
It's a state of mind, right? How do you channel them? Because sorry, let me add into this context. Because there are people that are afraid of setting goals. In fact, real time, a friend of mine told me that I won't set goals. What's the point of setting goals if you know you will be disappointed? And there is such mentality as well. And there are people who would set these goals, but they just know, like, I'm so defeated here before they even start executing.
Okay.
How do you channel?
With my students, what we've been trained to do by the company is we should have goals as coaches that we want to have done for our students. I'll make an example. As a coach, I would like to have 3 students come end of the year represent Johannesburg Metro Chess. That's a goal on my end. That means I'm dedicated, right? I'm working hard to make that happen. What that does to my student is show them how much I'm willing to work on them. So I'm giving them a sense of belief. So that's the first thing, right? Once you show them that you believe in them, no matter how bad they are at the beginning, they will get better because someone somewhere believes in them.
I love that. I love that, bro.
And then number 2 is help them set achievable goals. It needs to be measurable, something that it's a SMART goal, basically, right? So it's specific, measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and you can literally give this child or the student the opportunity to set a goal that you believe they can achieve, that they can see is possible for them to achieve. Don't set unrealistic goals like be a millionaire in 3 days. That's impossible. Unless, of course, you have some $1 million making scheme that you're working on. But if you want to achieve a goal like that, the time itself needs to say, okay, this is actually possible. Even in the safest hands or with the safest hands, it's actually achievable. So I'll make an example. Last year, I set out a goal to buy a car come end of the year. End of the year, not come mid-year, not come first month. And what I did throughout the year was save enough, work hard, save enough to purchase a car come end of the year. So I had 12 months of that year. I had the years before that because I had already thought of getting a car. I had been saving already. So I knew the amount of money I needed to save come end of the year to purchase a car. So the goal itself is not, I just thought about buying a car this year and I'm going to get it come end of the year. I've always been thinking about it. I've been saving for it before, but every other time something would just get in the way and it would reduce the amount of money I would have to buy that car. So setting the goal this time was more in the direction that no matter what happens, what you're saving for this year is to get a car. And, God came through for me. I managed to save. I reached my target and I got myself a car.
Congratulations. Well done.
And thank you. It's something that I think a lot of people maybe mistake. Setting unrealistic goals is what leads to that mentality that your friend had, Why set a goal when you know it's going to disappoint you? It's unrealistic. So with my students, I know what they're capable of. I know what I'm capable of. I know what the company is capable of in terms of resources that I may need. So I set goals that are achievable. Parents even believe these goals, and once there's belief, once it's achievable, once it's something realistic, then it becomes easy to get through that psychological barrier that you can't do it. Instead, it becomes, I believe I can do this. From I believe I can do this to I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. And while we're still there on chairs, which piece on the board explain your life most? By how it moves, maybe by how it which one piece you say like, this is me?
So a lot of people know already. I think my brother knows. A lot of people that I've played with know. I express it, even in the game. I tell you to your face that this is the piece that I want to save. And that piece would be a knight. My life hasn't always been straight. Of all the pieces on the board, the only piece that does not move straight is a knight. And that's very symbolic in a sense where it shows that no matter how turbulent your life is, no matter how fluctuating your life becomes, you can get to a point where you want to be. The knight can touch each and every square on the board. A bishop can't. A bishop can't touch every other square. It can't touch every single square on the board, but a knight can. And both the bishop and knight are worth the same. Do you understand? So a knight for me is symbolic of the way my life is, the way it's taken shape. A knight is a tricky. It's like a trick pony. You don't know what to expect with a knight. Once it gets on the board, I think even the top players are afraid of knights because out of nowhere, bam, this knight is attacking your king and something else, at the same time. And it's very hard. I think the knight on the board is the only piece when it checks you, you can't block. You have to run away.
Crazy. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's the only piece on the board that when it attacks you, you literally have to move away. You can't block it. You can either capture or you move away. Those are your only options. Other pieces, you have 3 options. Do you understand? So yeah, for me, I think the most symbolic piece on the board that might explain my life is a knight.
Jumping around.
Literally.
Making an impact.
Making things happen.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And for me, man, I'd have to think about it. What do you think about pawn? For some reasons, bro, I respect pawn so much.
I have mad respect for pawn. A pawn is the only piece on the board that almost every chess player is willing to sacrifice. So being a pawn means you're ready to die. You understand?
It's a real soldier.
It's a soldier-like mentality type of piece. Means that literally you're pushing through. A pawn can be stopped, right? When another piece blockades that pawn can be stopped, but it will always look to move forward.
Yeah.
Whenever the opportunity presents itself, it can always move forward.
Bro.
That's a pawn. And a pawn is literally, I think, the most, it's a piece that symbolizes that at the end of a tunnel, the light at the end of a tunnel, because you can promote a pawn to any other piece on the board, but you can't promote any other piece to anything else.
Yeah.
So the pawn is the only piece that can be promoted to something. You can promote a pawn to a queen. You can resurrect your queen from the dead through a pawn, but you can't do that with a knight, bishop, rook.
Bro, like, pawn describe my life in a sense, because that's what I believe. It's just that with it, you always pray.
Yeah.
When you're a pawn, you live in a prayer that I hope I make it on the other side. And I have a vision like how life is gonna be.
Yeah.
And it also like give you the mentality, or being a pawn, you have the mentality that your life is not destined to be like this, like
Mhm.
it can change.
Change, yeah.
Something can happen, it can
Yeah,
change. You
yeah.
understand? Yeah.
I think with a pawn, it's to remain faithful. I think like have faith. You know,
Yeah.
like literally have faith that no matter what happens on the board, you get to the other side
You
and
get to
become
the other
who you are meant to
side.
be.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a pawn. A pawn, literally, they start out 8 of them. I'm sure they're friends. When we tell our smaller kids,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
give
yeah.
them stories. These are 8 friends on the board,
Mm.
you know, and we tell them that a pawn is the only piece on the board that can become a queen, that can become a rook, that can
It's a
become something,
dreamer.
you know, as a dreamer,
Mm.
someone who dreams, literally,
Mm.
you know, and having a dream is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
If your dream doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming at all.
Mm.
If it's not difficult for you to navigate, if it's something that you don't fight for, you don't literally have to go through hell and back for, then I think it's just something anyone else can do.
Mm.
You know, your dream is something that for you is a beacon of hope. You know, and that's what a pawn aspires. That's what a pawn, you know, looks to achieve. It's always about becoming something that you always knew you were.
Mm.
You know,
that small voice in you. I wanna, because my show focus on 3 subjects: mindset, which is something that we've touched on, and money. I loved when we were talking about saving and all that. I want us to come back if we get time, because I also want you to give business strategies to small business. I remember you came to advise me on the business.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to execute more of those advice on my business. So you have a very good best business acumen. I don't know if you've started selling it or what.
No, not
Okay,
yet.
so I want us to talk about the belief side. When you're a pawn, although you're a dreamer, although you have this image,
Yeah.
because there's I don't know if you know this picture. I think it's a quote where they put a pawn in front of the mirror and the mirror reflect the queen, right? You live like that. You're hoping to be something one day, but your life can depend on the player.
Yeah.
And let's say the player is God. Let's say you are God as you're moving these pieces. How's your God been into your life? How's been like that part of God been in your life? And who's your God? Tell me about your God. How do you rate him as a player? Now you're a pawn and he's been moving you and you're still here, you're still alive, right? You're not out of the board. Tell me about this player, which is God.
God to me is a very vital part of my life. You know, he's been moving in my life, been moving through my life, been moving with me from day one. You know, like you mentioned, I'm still here. You know, I've had captures, I've had blocks, and you know, I've literally experienced a lot, and I'm still here, and God is still with me. God has been good. No. Actually, God has been great. You know, he's been instrumental. He's been amazing. You know, for me and my family. I think he's made me someone who my parents can be proud of. You know, and I think I don't know how far in life I'm gonna get. You know, according to His grace, according to His will, but I have a dream, and I believe He's working with me towards that dream. You know, I have a vision for what I want to achieve. I have goals that I want to obtain before I turn 60, before I turn 70, before I die. And I know that He's holding my hand through it all. I know that He's guiding me. I know that He's pushing me, you know, in that direction. And I think being a Christian, you know, is not easy. You know, the criticism that falls on your religion, the the constant backlash, everything, it makes, I think there are times when a lot of people that I've encountered that are Christians even doubt being, and that sense of doubt is something that's scary for any Christian, and for me, I believe in my God and I know what he's doing in my life, what he's done in my life, and what he's about to do in my life, and that'll never change. How I feel about him, how I value him, it's never going to change. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go into business, bro. So you've just like had this chunk of information about business. You surely you read the books of strategic management.
Yeah.
You read like entrepreneurship around all that. When you look South African small business, we can start there. What do you think is what is it that they are doing right? We can start there. And what do you think most they're doing wrong?
With South African businesses, I believe the small businesses specifically, the one thing that they're doing right is job creation. I think they're helping a lot with the jobs and improving the standard of living of a lot of families out there. It may not be every family, but it's literally a lot of families. Spaza shops are hiring security guards. People who are gonna check their inventory. People are gonna load up and stock up for them. And stuff like that. And that's something. It may not be ideal and perfect and but it's something that they're doing to at least get a lot of people off poverty, complete poverty, and I think in a sense they're improving the GDP of the nation. They're getting the nation on the map. The economy is not at its best right now, and I think that's what's affecting small businesses the most. The fact that prices are too high and they just can't keep up. They don't have the financial muscle, to keep up with a lot of challenges that the economy is posing. But I think the rand is doing better now.
Yeah,
it's doing much better than it was a year ago or 2 years ago, and I think that all boils down to the employment sector, right? It boils down to the level of opportunities that are available. The government is doing the best it can, yes, but it could do more. It could support more. It could offer a lot more services to small and medium-sized enterprises, especially sponsors and stuff like that. And with a lot of small companies, they only crash because they do not have financial backing. They do not have that muscle to compete with the giants in their particular industries. And when I was doing my research, finances came up a lot. Financial struggles with small and medium-sized enterprises in terms of the global market, right? So it's okay, yes, they can survive in the local economy, but now comes a shop like a Chinese shop that opens up here in South Africa and just dumps, literally, and they can sell something that a small enterprise now maybe would sell for 10 rand, they could sell it for 2 rand, and that already just takes them out of the running.
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot that can be done in the industry. There's still a lot that the industry itself can offer. Sorry, not the industry, but the government can offer the small and medium-sized enterprises in terms of financial backing. But it's also up to small and medium-sized enterprises to propose better projects, because I know the government would not necessarily just invest in anything, because it needs to be sure that what we're investing in is actually going to work. Even with private investors, that's the case. So make sure that your project or whatever you want to become, your business plan, whatever it may be, is detailed, is accurate, is actually a good business plan, something that even you as a business owner know is attainable, know is realistic, not some wishy-washy that you draw up because you just want funding and you promise equity like this and then none of it comes and it becomes an issue. You need to be realistic in your setting of things. There's a term that I came across a lot in my third year and last year in my honors. It's is your business plan feasible and is it viable? Feasible in a sense, is it something that can be done? Viable in a sense, if it receives backing, will it last long enough? So those are the two things that you need to ask yourself when drafting your business plan. It's anyone can draft a business plan, but can anyone draft a feasible business plan or a viable business plan? Investors, bankers, the government invest in feasible and viable business plans.
And what was your biggest highlight in the in the content that you have studied since you started first year till this point? What is it that maybe was the highlight? Maybe it helped you to redefine what business is or how you looked at it and all that.
I think content wise, the concept of entrepreneurship for me was just it was eye-opening in the university space. I got to learn that entrepreneurship is not just limited to creating a good or a service that the community needs or wants in that moment. It goes into a lot of things. There's a lot of aspects involved, like networking, for instance, like social entrepreneurship, which is something that it's not necessarily built for the sake of profit, but it's built solely to help improve the communities. It's for example, with our honors program, we were assisting a local company in becoming registered. We were giving them business ideas and how to become a self-standing or self-sustainable enterprise that's built mainly to assist communities, because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to become a social enterprise, assist communities, but also how to retain income, how to become, so what that means is basically they're offering local communities employment opportunities. They are then receiving backing and funding from the government, becoming sustainable, and also they're improving the financial or the economic standing of the country. That's a lot of things that a social entrepreneur or social enterprise is doing. I didn't know that was there. I just thought when you're an entrepreneur, it's all about making profit and it's cutthroat. You either make profit or not. That's it. But now I know that there's actually a lot you can offer and still ways to improve the community, the country at large, and even your standard of living as an entrepreneur. So I think in the space, the broad understanding of what it means to be an entrepreneur, the challenges you face as an entrepreneur, the hurdles and the mental fortitude you're supposed to have as an entrepreneur is something that I got access to within the university space from first year until now. Even moving forward, I'm still learning. I'm still recovering as much information as I can before I head into the business space and do anything with the information that I have.
So talk to me here. Running a small business, and I mean, as for some people who are self-employed out there who trying to to detach themselves out of the business from the business, and those who've been running their business in a small scale for a long time. Give us maybe, I don't know how many steps that you can put out there, how to be a business that get to stand the test of time, and secondly to actually remain profitable if your aim is profit, and to also just to make that impact, or maybe let me put it very narrow. Give me steps on how to run a successful business based on the the academic knowledge that you got.
I think it's important to be sustainable, right? What that means is you don't just spend recklessly. It means you're effectively and efficiently spending on expenses that maybe the business has. You don't just, as a owner of a company, go on a trip to Dubai because you own a company and you want a network in Dubai. No, that's not what you start where your pockets can. As a small business, say the furthest you can spend on a trip to maybe network is gonna take you to Mozambique. Go to Mozambique and network there. I'm sure there's someone there that's gonna help you improve your company, improve your business, or you might find an investor there that could help you perhaps on your next trip, take you to America, something like that. So it's always about being effective and efficient. Know your craft, as in know what it is, that value that your company offers, and specialize in it. Improve so much so that you make very little mistakes. With KFC, the reason why people keep going back is because they're so good at what they do. They just sell chicken. They specialize to the point where they make few errors. They can sell multiple amounts of pieces, and they hardly spend in wastages. So if you can become sustainable, being efficient and effective, then you are
master your craft.
You master your craft. You specialize basically. You then budgeting as a company is very important. You need to then be able to work with your budget, right? And then invest profits. Do not eat your profits, invest. Investing can be done in multiple forms. You can buy shares in other companies. You can then invest in property. You can invest in assets and all of these things.
You can invest in a business.
You can invest in another business as well. You can then what do you call it? I'm looking for the right term. Diversify.
Yeah.
Right. You diversify and you grow your business. Growth is something that is difficult, but it's something worth investing in. And the one thing again that may lead to a failure of many small to medium enterprises is the reluctance to change. So something is working for you or it worked for you so well, and you're reluctant to move with the times. So change is inevitable. You need to understand that. The ability to change, know when to change, to identify key points, in the business life cycle where a change is necessary. The biggest example of all of this is Netflix. Netflix started a long time ago, but it's the moment in which it blew up was during the COVID period, because it was able to identify that specific point in the business cycle where they had to change. So they were not necessarily a streaming company before. They changed to that when they noticed that, okay, this is something that in the future could be beneficial, that could grow, that could become, given the direction we're taking with the digital age and everything, let's move in this direction. And look at it, it's working for them now.
Yeah.
So, you need to be able to then change with the times. Reluctance to change is something that keeps companies, where they are and away from progress. So you need to be able to change. So.
I'm curious to hear from you. This is the second last question. Yeah, I'm curious to hear from you. Like, how do you look at AI? What do you think about AI? And also, how do you think it's going to impact businesses? Do you have fears? Do you have any courageous things about it?
Funny enough, my research this year is going to be on how AI and digitalization can help improve business operation or business performance.
Yeah, you should come back next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about it.
But I think AI is not the worst if used correctly, if used, efficiently and effectively. Your business can progress, it can improve, it can get better. I'm not saying let AI run your business. That's not what I'm saying. Use AI to better run your business. You know, um, it happens a lot, especially nowadays with students, even as well. They don't study anymore. They just let AI summarize and then they just take it, copy and paste. That's what they use AI for nowadays. When AI should be used as a guide for you to then, you know, train your brain or tickle your brain a bit to think about things from a new light. AI is supposed to be a suggestive tool. You use AI to suggest things you should look into. Then you just look into them yourself. And then when you do that, you're improving. You understand? But when you let AI do it for you, then take a sit back and relax. And I think with businesses, it's very scary to come into a business and whoever's running it is there. Hey Siri, how can I do this and this and that? It's very scary. Instead of asking Siri to suggest things they can look into to improve the direction. Say, for instance, Siri, do you think in today's day and age with the data that's available today, picking yellow over green is a good idea? And why? Then you just tackle things from there. Instead of saying, should I pick yellow or green? And then Siri says yellow and you pick yellow. That's bad. That's really bad. So I think the use of AI or what it's being used for is very important. I think that's what can help determine whether a business becomes successful or a business becomes failure in the near future. So I don't think AI is bad. It's just the way it's being used. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. What's your favorite tool at this moment? What do you use?
I think chat is a
ChatGPT.
Yeah, chat is a very knowledgeable AI tool. Mainly because once you know how to program it to suggest, and once you use suggestive language, it suggests really good, things for you to look into, for you to then further, research on and discover yourself. Because when you discover, remember, AI doesn't have feelings, so it doesn't necessarily know what you want. It just gives you a generalized answer because it's supposed to do that. But now when you specify and you give it a direction and it offers suggestions based on that direction, you can use those suggestions to move in the direction that you want to. And I think that's what helped a lot with last year and my research. ChatGPT as a suggestive tool, as in, given this topic, what should I perhaps research on or focus on in terms of giving it that framework that it works with, and then it just suggests steps for you maybe, or suggests topics that you can look at that can help add value to your research or add value to your business. That's what AI is supposed to be used for.
Yeah, no, I hear you when you say like we shouldn't, it shouldn't be something that run you, because it's easy for it to also take your thinking abilities.
Yes.
So I had asked it to actually give me the economic dynamics of South Africa since in the past. Do you want more?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, we're almost done. So yeah, when I checked it out, there were some things that I was like, I don't agree with it here and all that. And right now I started using it as well to grow my social platforms. And yeah, there are places where I can like challenge it on how it think and all that. What are some of the do you use it as well for your social benefits?
Oh no,
Okay.
unfortunately, no.
Okay. All right. There's a question that I got which I want you to touch on. I know like the people can be watching here. So this is around student affairs. So this lady asked me that she asked me if I can ask you what happened in chess. I think the last trip, ladies remained behind, and it was only guys that were elected. And the other guy, I think, is in Kwakwa campus. He asked why they were not part of the tournament. It's like the only campus that was chosen was Bloemfontein.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can relate to that. If you can answer those two questions, the first one is around gender politics.
Okay.
Yeah, or how do you go around there? Do you cater
Mhm.
for both genders? And the second one, other campuses,
Mm.
why do they feel like they are excluded?
Um, I'll speak specifically on chess now because I think
Yeah,
that's a major
yeah,
focus
that's
of mine.
chess. Specifically, it
You
was
know,
these
yeah.
questions were on chess.
Um, I'm not gonna lie. It's extremely difficult given the distances between campuses, right?
Hmm.
To be equally inclusive for all campuses.
Hmm.
But I know for a fact that I included all three campuses. Chess literally included all three campuses. Kwakwa participated in trials, South participated in trials, Bloom participated in trials, all three campuses. The opportunity was given, right? What had happened this year, or last year, sorry, with the whole trials thing was um, Bloom players, so who traveled to, we went to South, we had trials. I think South is closer for Kwakwa, I think, I'm not sure, than it is Bloemfontein. I'm not sure.
Which one? South
South
Campus?
Campus.
No, South Campus is just there.
Yeah. But is it closer for Kwakwa though?
No, no, no. It's still within the proximity or the
Okay.
radius of Bloom. It's
Um,
like 10 kilos from here, actually.
okay. So the thing is, we went to South and we had a preliminary trials there. The structure, of course, was new, something that the manager was working on or trying to implement for the year to see how it would work. It's going to change, of course, given it didn't necessarily work best. But what had happened was Kwakwa players and South players came. They don't have that many chess players, I might add, in comparison to Bloom Campus. But what happened was they played. We then selected the best performing players there,
Hmm.
right? And then extended the invite to them to come to Bloom Campus and then trial with those who are here because we have a lot of good chess players here in Bloom Campus. Trial with them here in Bloom. And then those who make it get selected into the available spots in the team from those who left the institution. So from the team of the year before, we had about 6 players that left, right? So six males, no, sorry, 3 males left, and then about 3 females left as well. So those were open spots for players to participate or fight for, basically,
Hmm.
right? And what had happened was it was unfortunate that Bloemfontein showed more prowess in terms of their ability. And then they got selected or they got places because I used a chess system that's used across the country by Chess South Africa. Swiss Manager. It manages the chess tournament. I didn't manually pick players who are going to play against who. I let a system do that. That to me is fair. It means I'm not pairing anyone based on how I feel and on a whim and how I think. Oh no, I don't want this one to go, so I think I should pair this one with the
Hmm.
stronger player. Instead, the system does everything. And that system literally picks or top three or top four or top what, and then I then announce, which is what I did. So from the list, um, everyone that went, yes, was from Bloemfontein campus, but it just meant that Bloemfontein campus players who trialed played better than those from South and those from Clark. And it's unfortunate, yes, but that's what happened in last year. With the ladies, I gave ladies a fair shot, an opportunity to trial. Um, they just didn't pitch.
Mm.
And for me, it's sad to hear that we're not giving females or we're leaving females behind when I believe I fought hard enough to get a female team to go. I fought hard enough to get because before one team was sent, males and females were mixed and then sent, but then now it's separated Males have their own team, females have their own team, and then we go.
Oh, I
Do you
see.
know?
I see.
So the opportunity for females, they on as per they had a request, they didn't want to participate or play a tournament with males because they felt males may get a unfair pairing where maybe as a female I play other females, and then you as a female you play other males, and then you get kicked out because you played stronger opponents. What I did was, okay, here's a female tournament. You play females, you trials against females, you play, right? And unfortunately, they couldn't come. Transport was not provided for them by the university or by their campuses to come and play. Okay, fine. I made provision for them to play online, which is something that I shouldn't be doing because uh, fair play breaches, right?
Mm.
But here's an opportunity to play online and no one pitches. What am I supposed to do?
No, I hear
You know,
you.
it's really difficult to work with someone who doesn't want to work with you or work with uh a particular sport maybe is reluctant to work with you. I even this year the plan or the idea is going to be different. It's still in discussion, but we are going to give the platform, of course, to everyone to have a fair shot at trialing and getting an opportunity to fight for university places, you
Mm.
know. And it's unfortunate that not everyone is going to make it into the team because of limited spaces. And I think at some point it's all about how you react to not making it. Don't blame the system that didn't choose you because you maybe couldn't make it in that moment.
Mm.
Maybe you're not just good enough yet. Get better and try again. That's what I always tell people. You may not have made it now, but if you have a desire to get better, and you will make it next time. The system is the same. It's always gonna, be there. If you can get better enough to overcome the system, then you will definitely get in. That's how we all started as chess players, and it's always gonna be that way.
Yeah, I'm glad for the constructive part at the end of your response, because I was about to ask that, like, how can they put themselves in a position where the system is
Mm.
more likely to choose them?
You practice, man. It's
Yeah,
all about practice. Chess is not something that you think is easy. It's not an easy sport. You
yeah,
practice.
yeah.
If you miss a day of practice or you miss a year of practice, you become extremely weak. And that's sad. It's unfortunate, but
It's
it's
so
true.
sad. Yeah.
You know, Players become good because they practice. Players become better because they practice. Athletes do that as well. They run every day. They gym. All of this. It's literally about that dedication to your craft, to that particular sport, to make sure you get better at it at
Mm.
the end of the day.
All right, great man. Thank you so much. What are you looking forward to this year? Sitting in the office
Um,
around sports. By the way, I gotta tell my people this, right? You play each and every sport that's there to
yeah.
play. That's there to
Uh,
play. Yeah,
I'm a jack of all trades,
yeah. You
something like that.
something like that. People think it's impossible to achieve, but
Mm,
you are. And you said chess is your favorite amongst them all, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think sports wise, I would really love to see female participation in
Mm,
sports across the different sporting codes.
mm,
Of course, making that opportunity available to them is something that I will, advocate for. And once that opportunity is there, I would hope and pray that they take it. you
they
know
show up.
yes, they show up and actually participate, engage, and all of that. That's something that I really want to see: female participation in sports across campus.
Mm,
you know it's one thing to say I'm a female and I want to play sport, and it's another thing to actually play.
mm.
So let's actually do things. Also, I would really love to see improved performances across the sporting codes. Improved structures, improved um logistical, aspects of things. That's something that I would love to see. The institution getting better and better and better in terms of everything that it does for the sports community. That's
Mm.
something that I would really like to see. I was really happy, when the football for the first time ever won Fasti Cup. That was the first time ever that happened, and I'm grateful that it happened during my term after
Mm,
all the hard work that
it's
I put
amazing.
in, advocating to get fans. We literally got fans from, the institution to travel to all the way to the Northwest to support, the soccer players so they don't feel alienated.
Mhm.
We were there, we fought for it across the three campuses. We fought for it, we did it. That's something that I'm happy to have experienced. So I would like to see a little more of that, across all sporting codes, not just the high performance teams, but also with the other teams performing in USA tournaments and all of that, just making, the opportunity available for students who have the talent to actually grab and, showcase their talent.
Mm. No, thank you so much, bro. Question I normally ask, I ask everyone who sit on this chair. I realize that we are all going in this life.
Mhm.
There's a destination that we sort of assume, maybe there's where we are going. Like there's an end goal, in our life. Some people arrive there, some people don't arrive. Now, I want to ask this question: when you arrive at your destination, what is it that you hope you would say to yourself during that moment, and what do you hope the community says about you? What would you also hope like your family is gonna say about you when it's all like when it's all said and done?
Um, I think it's just a few words. Congratulations. And
And that's from yourself.
yeah, from myself,
Yeah.
congratulations, great man. I'm proud of everything that you've done from the community. Congratulations. We are proud of you. From my family, thank you. Congratulations. You've come so far.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a humble guy. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you,
me
man.
your time, man. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah, I'll be sitting with your colleague tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And for today we are done. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe and share to people that you think they need to hear most. Otherwise, we out. And don't forget, if you want my book, it's $200. I can get it over to you wherever you are in the world. I can actually send it. 200 when you are in South Africa, $11 when you are abroad. You can always text me or maybe send me an email on asvayemedia@gmail.com. Thank you. Okay, that's it. Okay.